spiritual transformation. It's something we all think we understand. But what if the ancient wisdom about metanoia actually reveals a completely different path than modern self-help suggests?
That's such an intriguing way to look at it. The contrast between ancient understanding and modern approaches really jumps out.
You know what's fascinating about this text we're exploring? It presents this radical idea that transformation isn't just some self-improvement project. It's this profound cosmic process where we're literally part of the firmament. The ancient Hebrew word for firmament, rakia, actually suggests something hammered or stretched out, like metal being formed.
That's really interesting how it connects to metallurgy. So this transformation is more like a forging process?
Exactly. And here's where it gets really compelling. The text describes this process of metanoia, this radical heart transformation, as something that involves surrendering every single passion, every emotion, to the divine. It's like this spiritual alchemy where our raw materials are transformed into something entirely new.
Well, that's exactly what sets it apart from modern self-help, isn't it? Instead of trying to control everything, it's about this complete surrender.
Right? And you know what's particularly striking? The text specifically warns against what it calls false humility. This kind of reverse pride that actually blocks transformation. It's like, well, imagine someone refusing a gift because they think they're not worthy. That's not really humility at all.
That reminds me of the ancient desert fathers who wrote about this same phenomenon. They called it spiritual pride disguised as humility.
And speaking of ancient wisdom, the text makes this fascinating connection to Lucifer's story, not just as a cautionary tale, but as this profound illustration of how choosing against service to others is actually choosing against reason itself.
You know what's really striking about that? The way it connects to modern psychological research about how altruism is actually linked to better mental health outcomes.
And here's where it gets really practical. The text describes how we can express our struggles through what it calls a shrill or moan like a dove, this raw, unfiltered expression that doesn't need to be sophisticated or intellectually refined.
That's such a powerful image, it's almost like it's giving us permission to be authentically broken.
And what's particularly fascinating is how this connects to the broader theme of salvation history. The text presents our personal transformation as part of this cosmic story that stretches from Genesis through to the present moment. It's like we're all characters in this ongoing divine narrative.
Well, that really shifts the perspective from individual to collective transformation, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. And here's what I find most compelling. The text describes this transformation as a true mystery, a sacrament unknown and unfathomable. It's acknowledging that while we can participate in this process, we can't fully comprehend or control it.
That's such a different approach from our modern need to understand and explain everything.
And it all comes back to this fundamental transformation of our capacity to love. The text presents the Holy Spirit as the subject matter expert on love, using this almost modern technical language to describe this ancient wisdom about divine love.
So in essence, it's suggesting that true transformation isn't about becoming a better version of ourselves, but about becoming vessels for a different kind of love entirely.
Exactly, and that's what makes this message so relevant today. In a world obsessed with self-improvement and personal growth, it's offering this radically different path, one that leads through surrender to transformation, through brokenness to wholeness, through letting go to becoming something entirely new.
That really brings new meaning to these ancient texts. They're not just historical documents, but living guides for transformation.
And perhaps that's the most surprising thing of all, how these ancient words about metanoia, about spiritual transformation, speak so directly to our modern condition. They're offering us a way forward that's both simpler and more profound than anything our self-help culture has come up with.